Welcome to the Refs Need Love To podcast, a show that gives you a real, raw, and behind-the-scenes view of one of the hardest jobs on the pitch, the referee. I'm your host, David Gerson, a grassroots referee with 7 years of experience and over 1,000 matches under my belt. You can find me at refsneedlove2.com and on TikTok at the same name. In today's episode, we will be discussing all-important pregame. There is nothing worse than seeing a ref crew that is obviously not working well together and on the same page. It is absolutely imperative that we act and communicate as a team on the pitch. Having a proper pregame briefing helps to ensure success and alignment no matter what may come our way. Over the years, my pregame chat as a center ref has definitely evolved, and what used to be focused on good flag mechanics or staying on the second to last opponent or just simply following play all to the goal line has evolved into a much more detailed and nuanced conversation. And that changes in every game depending on who am I reffing with, what's their experience level, what's the level of competition that we're reffing. But these are the main topics I cover. I never do them all in the same order. It's never the same thing every single time. So please, when I talk about these things, take it with a little bit of a grain of salt and pick out something that you would use. You're not going to use everything, but maybe you pick up one thing that helps you next time you're doing your pregame, because there's nothing more important than having a good crew working together and looking like you're together. So the main topics that I cover: eye contact, nonverbal communication. That is first and foremost. We are a team. We need to make sure we stay connected throughout the game. Oftentimes I'll look towards you and just make sure that we're good. And if you have any info for me, we can give each other a little thumbs up or a little nod, just a little eye contact. Make sure we're all together. On hard fouls, I may look over to you for input. Quick hand to the shirt pocket's good enough for a yellow card signal, but don't be obvious. Be very inconspicuous. I may decide for a yellow card. I may not. I may decide for a red card, and I don't want anyone to think we're not on the same page if you go for a yellow card to your chest. So you got to be inconspicuous about it. If it is definitely a red card scenario and you see that you feel it's a red card, I would really just want you to get my attention, call me over, and let's have a conversation about it quietly. I don't want you to make any, motions with your body, like throwing elbows around or knees or something like that, or showing where the contact happened. I want that to be a conversation so that you and I can talk about it, and then we can agree on it, and then we can explain it to the players and potentially the coaches. But I don't want anything to come away without us being aligned. The third thing that I talk about is watching my back. I can't see everything, and I rely on you to help me. You're the AR, seeing things off the ball. Oftentimes, players try to get away with things when my back is turned. I'm following the play upfield, and there's two players that might be bumping into each other, and all of a sudden, an elbow comes flying. Please watch when, my back is the plays going upfield and there's still players behind me. Make sure you get my attention, call out to me, signal with your flag if need be. We'll discuss and we'll take action, but keep your eyes open. The fourth thing, and this is really, really important for my junior referees, is dissent from coaches, players, or spectators. I need you to be my eyes and ears around the pitch. I'm not going to hear everything, but it's important to recognize and understand that dissent towards any one of us is dissent towards all of us. Dissent towards any one of us is dissent towards all of us. What we permit is what we accept, okay? And what we accept is what we permit, however you want to say it. But it's an issue, and I don't like it. Isolated outbursts and frustration about a particular call, that's expected. Someone's frustrated that was an offside or a call, or they slapped their hands down or something. I'm like, come on, man. Okay, that's fine. It happens. Everyone gets upset when a call goes against their team. We should expect that. People are passionate about the game. That's a good thing, whether it's from the parents or the coaches or the players. But if it becomes personal, profane, or prolonged, I need to know. Someone's like, that effing ref sucks. What a effing clown. Oh my gosh, he's not even qualified to be out there. And he's saying that publicly, and you hear it if you're the AR1 in front of the bench, or if the parents are saying something that's ugly or profane or questioning our credibility. I need to know about. Now, again, if you're concerned for your safety, get my attention immediately, okay? And we'll dismiss that offending party. We'll deal with it. We'll get off the field if need be. If it's a question of dissent, get my attention at the next stoppage, and we won't even have much of a discussion. You should have already, verbalized, again, hey, coach, or parent, I'm sorry, that's unacceptable. If you continue, there'll be consequences. If they continue, you get my attention at the next stoppage. I come over, briefly discuss. You don't even need to explain what happened. Just say, hey, coach, a ref, that coach needs a yellow card for dissent. Done. Coach, cut it out. That is for dissent. No more. Any further, comments like that, there will be further consequences. But I will back you up every single time, or will dismiss the offending party if a card does not do the job. On offside, when I'm talking to my ARs, man, please focus on the second to last opponent, the offside line. This can easily be a key match decision to decide the outcome of a tight game. I'd much rather an AR miss a throw-in call than an offside call. Again, really important here. So please make sure you're focused on that. Don't worry so much about the throw-ins. Now let's talk about throw-ins. I want to make sure we're on the same page. That's really important for me. I hate it when I go to a match or I'm working a crew. Maybe I'm the AR2 and I see the AR1 and the center ref just completely, keep crossing each other up. I mean, you want to damage your credibility on something that's really minor. Do that a couple times. Have, the AR call a corner, have the referee call a goal kick, or vice versa, or throw in hands going up odd directions here. We want to make sure we are making the same call and we're going up together. So me personally, if it's in the AR's quadrant, or what I would call their touch line and their goal line, so the touch line they're standing on and the goal line that they're closest to, I'm generally almost always going to go with what they call. And again, what I'm looking for from them is a little bit of a kind of shading out to the side of their hip, a little bit out to the hip, a little bit of an indication of which way they're going to go. We make eye contact and then we go together. If it's on my touch line or my goal line, again, they're going to be further away from the play. So generally I'm going to go up first, and I just want them to mirror me every single time. But if the AR calls it and they've got it, I'm going with them every single time. If I see it differently, I'll say out loud, hey, I got it. Deflection, we're going white, and I'll call it up. Otherwise, I'm going with you every single time. Very, very important. But we need to make sure that we look like we are supporting each other and we're not contradicting each other. Very critical. Let's talk a little bit more about offside. On offside call, really want to make sure that we're holding our flag until the offside player becomes involved in the play. If the ball is played through, attacker was offside at the time the pass was made, hold your flag until you're sure that they'll be able to play the ball. They become involved in the play would be the correct language there. If it looks like the goalkeeper is going to collect it, safely, keep your flag down. Let's keep the game moving, get the ball in the keeper's hands or at their feet, let them decide what they want to do with it, but keep the flag down. If you think there's going to be a dangerous situation and it's going to be imminent with an onrushing goalkeeper, absolutely, then go ahead and raise your flag. But I have been guilty, and this is my own personal experience, in a high-level MLS Next game where a player was in an offside position and I raised my flag, and the ball was played through, and the keeper wound up collecting it. Now, the referee did not blow offside. He kind of just, I knew that he collected it, and it looked like the keeper was just going on with the play. So I put my flag down. Ref didn't blow a whistle for offside. And the keeper had seen my flag go up, didn't notice that it went down, and started to walk out of the penalty area with the ball in his hands. And thankfully, the ref bailed me out and blew a whistle for the offside. But what could have happened there is the keeper could have walked out of the box, or the penalty area, the 18-yard area, and had a handball offense because they thought an offside was called and none was called. So if you raise your flag, then don't put it down until I wave you down and I clearly communicate, keeper, let's keep going, no offside, keep on playing. We don't want to miscommunicate and have cross signals there. Really important. The last thing I will say on offsides is just, no S there. If the play is on the other side of the field from you and I don't see your flag at first, and then you raise it, let's say you're waiting for someone to come involved in the play and I don't look back over, feel free to yell ref or Gerson to get my attention. I am not too shy. We're not using comms. I want to make sure we get the call. People really get frustrated when play continues and everyone sees that your flag is up and I don't see it. So let's make sure that we're communicating there. All right, penalty kicks. When a penalty kick is called, immediately jog over to the edge of the 18-yard box on the goal line. Your job is to make sure the goalkeeper has at least 1 foot on, over, or behind the goal line until that ball is kicked. If you feel that the goalkeeper has clearly, and when I mean clearly, I mean obvious to everyone on the field, has come off his line before the ball is kicked and they make the save, then stay put and do not move. I will look at you after the save and we will make eye contact. If I agree, I'll blow the whistle and initiate a re-kick. If it is literally something that no one can see, man, just let it go and get back in position for the kickoff. Substitutions. No one comes on the field until someone comes off the field. And this is something that I'm a real stickler about. It is just difficult to make sure that I've got 11 players on the field if we don't manage this effectively. I don't want people feeling that they can just go ahead and sub whenever they want to. The AR1, please be clear with the players and the coaches about this. Make sure everyone's wearing a penny if they're on the bench, and keeps that penny on until they're about to sub on. They can hand it to the player who's coming off, making sure that everyone on the bench is definitely wearing a penny that's a different color than their jersey. Third thing here, record everything. And when I say record everything, I'm talking about all the goals and cards. It's a good practice to be in. I'm going to try and communicate with you via hand signals or voice to make sure that we all have it recorded correctly. So for example, a goal is scored and I'll look up and I'll say, number 10. So that you know, I'll give a hand signal too, so you know what number to write down for the goal scorer. Same thing if it's a yellow card. If I have a moment, I'll go ahead and look over and be like, number 3, just so that you know who it is and you're recording the minute. It's really important to do that for every single card and every single goal. Not every league, is so worried about that type of thing, but it's something that I do pretty religiously for every game that I do. Mass confrontations. Let's hope we don't have one today. This is the first thing I'm going to say. But AR1, your primary job is to make sure coaches and players do not come onto the field. If for some reason I determine the need that coaches need to come on for whatever reason, I'll personally ask them to become involved. But that is extremely rare. First thing foremost, I don't want anyone else onto the pitch that doesn't need to be there. If there is a mass confrontation, we want to try and form a triangle around the action, a triangle control, to get good viewing angle as to who is involved and who may need a yellow card or red cards to be issued to. So very important, guys. We're all going to be keeping our eyes open for that and seeing who needs to be carded. I do not want you to get in the middle of a fight. If it's possible that we could stop a confrontation from taking place, just our whistle and our position, great. But I certainly do not want someone catching you in the face with a punch unknowingly. Just not worth it. Don't do it. I'm going to talk about fouls and empowering my assistant referees to call fouls in their quadrant. Definitely want to make sure that my assistant referees feel free to raise and waggle their flag for fouls that they think that I have missed or that they have a better angle on. And this is very important. Me as a center referee, I'm very vocal out there. If I see a foul and I'm not going to call something, you're going to hear me say, all ball. You're going to say nothing there, play on. You'll say, hey, get up. If I'm telling the player who fell over, just wasn't enough there, but just give me, a little bit of a second to verbalize that. Obviously, if you see a foul and let's say it's, a foul coming out, it would be for the defensive team and you got a better angle, just go ahead and flag it. No worries about that. Yes, if it's clear, go ahead and flag it, but give me a second to be able to verbalize if I have it, if I've seen it, or if I've not. The other thing is very important is that once you call a foul, if you flag it, I'm going to support you. Okay. I'm not going to overrule you. If you've got it and you flag it, we're going to call it just because I want to make sure that we all look like we are one crew and we are together, and that by calling the foul, I look like I saw it too. So we're all together. This is one that's, more for my younger ARs, and I talk about this a lot, is please follow the play all the way to the goal line. I can't even begin to describe how many times with a young referee that they just will be following a play on down, and then when it starts getting to the keeper, they just start walking or jogging or don't even go that last 5 yards to get all the way down to the corner flag when the ball is rolling towards the goal line or the keeper is about to pick it up. I tell you, I am a magnet for goal line plays where the ball just barely goes over the line. I mean, it happens to me all the time, and it happens in games that I'm reffing as well. It is really hard to make a good call unless you're down on the goal line. Now, there is nothing worse than an AR trying to make a determination on a goal line decision if they're standing 10 yards up the touchline. They have no credibility. So I always ask people, follow all the action down to the goal line. That is going to enable you to be in the best position to make good calls on goals, corners, and goal kicks. On goals scored, I'm going to be looking for eye contact in a short sprint up about 20 yards from the goal line. This is really important. Let's say that ball goes in and comes out. Maybe it's a clearance, but the ball's already gone over the goal line. Again, on that goal being scored, I'm looking at you. We're making eye contact. Again, you've got your flag up because the ball has gone out of play and come back into play. Flag up, we make eye contact, you sprint up the line. If it's not one of those, it's a clear goal. Again, I'm looking over at you and you should be sprinting up the line about 20 yards from the goal line. That's really important. If the ball does not cross the goal line, I'm expecting that you're just going to be standing there ready for normal play and continuing without making that sprint up the field. This is one, it's a little bit controversial. I know people feel differently about this stuff. The next couple, I would say that. I encourage the assistant referees to be talking to the players, reminding players, find the ball, play smart. I'm here, just so that they know, especially if it's one of these situations where, let's say the ball's going into the corner and someone's coming in hard for that, just reminding that attacking player, hey, play smart, find the ball, don't go through the man, is very important. I want to have, free-flowing soccer. I don't want to be blowing the whistle every 5 seconds. And you can help as the assistant referee, since you're closer to that, to just remind players that you're present. Another thing that I know some people have some different feelings about is marking off 10 yards. Let's say it's a free kick that is over towards the touchline, and instead of a quick free kick, it's now in the situation where it's going to be a ceremonial free kick, as opposed to me jogging all the way over to the touchline or towards the corner area to count at 10 yards. I just ask that, hey, if we make kind of eye contact, whatnot, I'll just say, go ahead, that you go ahead and mark off that 10 yards so that I can get in position quicker and get the game restarted faster. This last note here is uber critical for me. Uber critical. And this really, really irritates me when someone does not do this. It is that we enter the field as a team and we leave the field as a team, whether it's during halftime or full time. And when I say enter the field as a team, that we are at the center circle, we walk out to the center circle, referee with ball in hand, ARs with their flags rolled up. We get to the center circle, we remind each other the time, we say good game. 2 ARs go and they inspect nets and they go to the proper sideline, or the touch line, they count out their 11 players, they unfurl their flags and let me know that we're ready to go. At halftime, I expect that you jog to the center circle and we are all going to walk off the field at the same time. This is when the moments that happened in the previous half are freshest in our mind. It's very important. Also, that's one of those times that we're vulnerable at halftime interval or full-time interval. That's when players or coaches want to come on up to us potentially and say something or ask questions. It is always better as a full crew that we stand together and aligned as opposed to one person by themselves. So really important, especially at the end of the game. I want you jogging to that center circle or wherever I am on that pitch as the center ref. We're going to come together as 3. We're going to wait patiently if we're in the mood and the team's in the mood to, give some fist bumps and shake hands. Great. If not, we just go ahead and we walk off to our gear as a crew. But that's what we should look like. We should look like we are connected from the first minute of the match all the way through to the 90th minute of the match. And even as we step off the field, not only does it look good, but it's also for our safety. So those are just a number of the different things that, I talk about in my pre-games. Again, it depends on who I'm with, how much time we have, and the level of competition, and the level of referee that I'm working with, how experienced they are. I mean, they could be my age, but they could be, their first year refereeing, or they could be 17, 18 and have even more experience than I do. So it really all depends on the people, their experience, the level of competition that we have, the time that we have. If you have any other thoughts or suggestions, man, please send me a message. I would love to hear from you and what you talk about in your pregame. If I've missed something, man, I could always pick something up. If you want to give another opinion on something I said, that would be fantastic too. But I always appreciate the feedback and the opinion. The goal is to get a little bit better every single day. I will say one last thing that I always talk about in my pregame and in my post games is feedback. I want feedback. What'd you see? Anything that I can improve on, anything that I observed, any questions you have for me about any of the calls that I made. Let's talk through it, because I get better when someone asks me questions, or as someone asks questions of me and questions something that I did out there. And I hope you stay open and stay humble and stay curious too. That's the only way we can get better. So thank you so much for your time today. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. You can always find me on TikTok at Refs Need Love Too. Obviously, you're listening to the podcast. Definitely check out the blog and the merch online at refsneedlove2.com. And I look forward to talking with you soon. And I wish that your next game is red card free.